As you, of course, remember, the supposed murder of George Floyd was a wonderful occasion for the media. Rarely have they been able to manufacture a story so potent and so useful. It was great for ratings. It was even better for the narrative. They could push left-wing talking points while also raking in the advertising dollars. It was the best of both worlds. They loved it. So it's understandable in a certain way that the media has been trying desperately ever since then to recapture that same magic, to ignite the spark that ultimately burned down entire city blocks all around the country. And they've been looking for their new George Floyd. All they've been able to find, at best, though, are, little George Floyd Juniors. But they keep searching. They keep trying their best to fabricate stories that might be as ideologically and monetarily profitable as the one they told about blessed Saint George Floyd. And they have tried again with the latest BLM martyr, a man named Leonard Cure. This past Monday, Cure was shot and killed by a deputy in Camden County, Georgia, after he was pulled over for a traffic stop. There are only 3 pieces of information about this incident that the media wants you to focus on or wants you to know at all. And this is the first piece, that Cure was shot during a traffic stop. The second is that Cure was black. And the third is that he was recently exonerated and released from prison after serving 16 years on an armed robbery charge. Here's the New York Times with those details. Quote, Mr. Cure was convicted of the armed robbery of a Walgreens in Broward County in 2003 and was sentenced to life in prison because of prior convictions. In 2020, the Broward State Attorney's Office Conviction Review Unit asked a judge to release Mr. Cure after the unit found problems with the case, according to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. These concerns included how a suspect was identified and the fact that an alibi for Mr. Cure was never presented in court. Mr. Cure was released, and in December 2020, he was exonerated based on findings of actual innocence, the Innocence Project of Florida said. Officials had determined that evidence in the form of an ATM receipt had proven that Mr. Cure was miles from the crime scene at the time of the robbery. Now, if Mr. Cure was falsely convicted, that's very unfortunate. It's also not relevant at all to what happened during the traffic stop on Monday. The officer didn't know about that history, and even if he had, it wouldn't have changed anything in the moment. And yet nearly every media headline on this shooting is framed like this. This is from the same New York Times article. This is the headline, Man wrongfully imprisoned for 16 years is fatally shot during traffic stop. Here's NPR. Leonard Allen Cure, freed after a wrongful conviction, is shot dead in a traffic stop. CNN says, a wrongfully convicted man who was exonerated after 16 years is shot and killed during traffic stop. You get the idea. Let's take the least relevant fact and put it in the headline. That's the strategy. This is how the narrative is cemented before anyone even knows exactly what happened or why. And local media, of course, is on the same page. Here's how they're covering the story. Watch.
Tonight, those who knew Leonard Cure tell 11 Alive that they're still in disbelief tonight. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn picks up our team coverage tonight from downtown Atlanta. He's live outside of the Georgia Innocence Project. And Cody, how did that nonprofit and Leonard Cure cross paths?
Jennifer and Ron, shortly after being released in April 2020, Leonard moved to Georgia, where he became part of Georgia Innocence Project's free and exonerated community.
Turn around.
17 days before Leonard Cure was shot during a traffic stop in Camden County, the 53-year-old
who trusted in a wrongful arrest before and wasn't released for 16 years.
spoke to a group of students at Jonesboro High School.
One of the things that he really harped on when he spoke to the students.
During his original arrest in 2003,
He was very compliant with the police.
Christian Stegall helped prep Leonard for his speech, really getting to know him.
I can only imagine what was going through his mind when he was pulled over again.
So that's all we need to know, right? He was a black man, wrongfully convicted. He was going around and giving talks to high school students. Clearly, his death is a great injustice and outrage. Who cares about the actual details? Well, the ACLU of Florida certainly doesn't. They tweeted yesterday, Leonard Cure was incarcerated for a crime he didn't commit for 16 years before getting his life snatched from him by a cop. Modern policing is rooted in slavery and rotten to the core. The Southern Poverty Law Center agrees, posting, SPLC is deeply saddened by the tragic loss of Leonard Cure in Camden County, Georgia. We urgently call for a transformation in policing that honors every individual's rights. The ongoing anti-blackness in policing must end. Every leader must act for justice and accountability. So, anti-blackness in policing, modern policing is rooted in slavery. Leonard Cure was just released from prison. He was a nice man. His friends and family loved him. We've heard a lot of things, but we haven't heard what actually happened. And if you're a credulous moron, a member of the brainless mob, then you have enough information to have already formed an opinion because it's the opinion the media has formed for you. But if you have a working brain that functions independently from the hive mind, then you may be interested to see the footage of the altercation which the Camden County Sheriff's Office has released. Here it is.
Step out! Get out! Get out! Put your hands back here.
I ain't doing
Put your damn hands back here.
Who are you?
Staff Sergeant of the Sheriff's Office.
My name is Al Wade.
I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle.
In the name of who?
In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased.
I'm going. Watch me now.
Put your hands on the back of that truck.
Do you see that?
Put your hands on the back of that truck.
The back of the truck.
Both hands. Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
Your name is Officer who?
Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office.
Who county?
Camden County. Put your hand behind your back.
Do I have a warrant? Wait. No. Excuse me.
Either put your hands behind your back or you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Okay, let's pause it there for a moment. How was I speeding, he asks, after going 100 miles an hour. And I know it's not really funny, but it's a little funny, that part of the exchange. How was I speeding? You were going 100 miles an hour. Oh, well, yeah. Except for going 100 miles an hour, how was I speeding? In the state of Georgia and in pretty much every other state, going 100 miles an hour is a crime. It's reckless driving. And there's good reason to prosecute it as a crime because at that speed, the likelihood of getting into an accident is very high and the likelihood that everyone involved will die is nearly 100%. Okay? You're going 100 miles an hour down the road and you come up against traffic that is slowed down, someone, cuts in front of you, anything like that, you're not going to have the time to react and you're going to kill everybody involved in the accident. That's why it's a crime. The point here is that Cure is being pulled over and arrested for committing a crime, and a dangerous crime at that. All he has to do now, all he should do, all that any rational and halfway decent person would do, is cooperate and accept the consequences of your actions. That's it. You broke the law, you got caught, game over. That's really your only viable choice. It's also the right choice. But it wasn't Leonard Cure's choice. Let's keep watching.
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
And what? Am I going
Hands
to jail?
behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Yep.
Okay, so let's review. Leonard Cure decided to go 100 miles an hour. He got pulled over. The officer tried to arrest him for the crime he just committed. Cure was uncooperative from the very start. Cure refused to do as he was told. The officer tried to use a taser, but then Cure assaulted him. The officer tried wrestling Cure to the ground. Then he tried using a baton. Cure kept assaulting him. Finally, the officer used his gun, and Cure stopped assaulting him. If you're keeping track at home, the officer used literally every non-lethal means at his disposal before finally resorting to lethal means. He even continued using non-lethal means while he was being physically attacked. Personally, if I have any objection to the way the officer conducted himself, is that he was far too nice. He should have shot him sooner. If I was in that position, I would have shot him dead the second he put his hands on me. But then again, the officer knows from the moment a black suspect starts being non-compliant that he's in a lose-lose situation. He's fully aware that if he has to defend himself, his life will be destroyed and he might go to prison. And if he doesn't defend himself, he might be killed on the spot. Which means that even while a cop is literally fighting for his life, he has to be thinking about how this will look on camera after the fact. I mean, it's insane that police have been put in that position, but that's the position they're in. And with all that in mind, I think this officer threaded the impossible needle in a rather admirable way. But none of that matters to the mob or the media, or for that matter, the family members who have this to say. Watch.
Cure's family believes there was no de-escalation on either side.
It was excitement met with excitement. And result, I still believe in my heart, and I know in my heart my brother should be alive.
Cure's family and his family attorney, Ben Crump, held a press conference Wednesday, which is when they saw the video. Cure's mother says she feels her son was paranoid from already being wrongfully incarcerated, spending more than 16 years in prison.
I can tell you this, there was nothing so bad that he deserved to die.
Yes, there was, ma'am. He physically assaulted a police officer who was simply trying to do his job and enforce the law. In fact, he continued assaulting a police officer while 3 different types of non-lethal measures were used. He did everything in his power to get shot by a cop, and he was. So did he deserve it? Yes. Okay, he didn't deserve to die. Yes, he did. The same way you deserve to get shocked if you stick a fork in an electrical outlet. You deserve the logical and inevitable consequences of your actions. If you don't deserve that, then what does the word deserve mean? You know, maybe rather than doing a press conference with Ben Crump and throwing a police officer under the bus for simply doing his job, maybe you should be reflecting on how your son turned out this way. Keep in mind that he was a habitual criminal convicted of multiple crimes before his arrest in 2003. So some introspection from the family is in order, but instead, as usual, they cast blame everywhere else. Now, that said, I agree with Cure's brother. He says that he knows in his heart that Leonard should still be alive, and he's absolutely right. He should still be alive. He threw his own life away for nothing. First going 100 miles an hour, then viciously assaulting a police officer. This man had a death wish. At the very least, he was ambivalent about his own existence. He didn't value his life or his freedom. You know, we keep hearing about, well, he didn't want to go back to prison. So why are you doing something that assures you will go back to prison? The minute you start assaulting the cop, best case scenario is you go to prison. That's the best case. Worst case is you die. There is no other potential outcome. So if he didn't want to go back to prison, why was he doing a thing that would ensure with absolute certainty that at best he goes back to prison? In fact, the officer he attacked valued Cure's life more than Cure did. He was clearly more committed to keeping the man alive than the man himself was. Why didn't Cure believe that his own life mattered? Why was he willing to throw it all away for nothing by making a series of choices that could have nothing but negative outcomes for him? Well, that would be a worthwhile conversation. One that we should eventually get around to having. But instead, we're stuck in fantasy land, pretending that a bunch of violent, suicidal criminals are somehow victims of a racist conspiracy. And this, of course, is the fantasy land that the media has constructed. And it's why they are today finally canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.